Hey, Team Everbook. Brian Wolfmuller here, Everbook inventor. It's kind of cool. Talking about annual review and Everbook archiving, because one of the magic things about the Everbook is the stuff that's in here, the stuff that's in your EDC, your Everyday Carry Everbook, is just the stuff you need, just the stuff that you want on here, just the stuff that's active, that's handy. But the question is, well, what do you do with the stuff when you take it out? You don't want to throw it all away. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe if it's not active, boom, it's... Sorry, I'm also vacuuming. Can you hear the Roomba? Carrie said vacuum, so this is efficiency, doing two things at once. So where does it go? Where do you put it? And I want to show you my system for that, and I want to walk through how that comes now into an annual review. I've got 3 places where I'm going to pull stuff out of the archive. The first is a plain old manila folder, and this is called To Done. The To Done folder. So I got the to do, that's all here. This is every time I finish something, and I'll show you what's in here. This is 2020 To Done, and all of my weekly worksheets. So, I mean, here was the last worksheet of the week. That's in there, and if you go all the way back to the beginning of this thing, the very first sheet that's in there is my milestones and my departures for 2019. So every week, all my stuff in there, and all these things that you see, the half notebooks, those are projects that I finished. So when I finish up a project, but I want to keep the notes for it. What's that one? Oh yeah, that was back in September. Went up for a class in Fort Wayne, and so that's all my notes and stuff for that. So all those are projects that are complete, and I just file them chronologically in my To Done folder. The other 2 things that I use are, number 1, I've got an archiver. I used to have a second Everbook for this, but Carrie's using my maybe my third Everbook. But this is my Log Archive 2020. I'm about to start a new one for 2022, but it's just a manila folder cut in half with a clip on it. And as I would write notes and jot stuff down, and then once I'm done with it, I just pull it out. I'm looking through it like you can see it. I just pull it out and I file it in here. So this is just like what Everbook is for my current system, then I'm just putting it in here chronologically. So it would start December last year, start in January, end in December. I know the months. This is a really significant year for me because right in the middle is when I got COVID. And you can see, it's kind of amazing. My notes go from this to, I'll show you, to this when I was trying to learn how to write again. So, it's really quite something. So this is going to be my archive where I'll put stuff. And I haven't started mine for 2021. Everything's just still in my Everbook, but we're getting to the end of the month, and that's when I kind of clear out my log stuff. And so I'll start a 2020 log. The third thing I've got is a sort of a project Everbook. This is the Everbook that I first made, that first profile video. And this has a bunch of projects that are not active right now. Now I pull this out for my weekly review and I look at all my projects in here and I say which 3 or 5 or 2 or none do I want to make active this week? Do I want to give attention to this week? So they're gathered up in various bundles. So here's a project folder that's kind of, here's what's coming up next. Here's projects connected to the church. Here's a handful of sort of loose, random projects. I don't know, I got about 10 different projects that are there. Some extra, this is on hold projects, so someday maybe projects. So when I'm taking notes on stuff on projects that are not particularly active, those go on here. Now, I'll have to admit to you guys that every once in a while I'll grab a handful of projects and just sort of set them on my desk. They're there, so I don't want to take them with me, but I want to look at them in the morning. So I got a little pile of projects right there as well. So that's a third place. Now let me show you, there's one more thing, and we should probably do a longer video on smart noting kind of thing, but there's another place, which is I started this year, and it's my deep notes. This is just I'll show you what I got here so far. This is basically stuff that I want to not forget. So it's random particular thoughts. I don't know, maybe there's 1,000 in here so far. They're organized by topic and footnoted to each other. And so as I'm going through my as I'm going through my log, as I'm going through my projects, as I'm going through my notes and things like this, as I'm reading books, and I have an idea and I think, I want to keep a hold of that idea. I want to be able to access it to, it's not connected to any project. It's a thought that's out there. Then that goes right in there. So that's where I put stuff when it goes outside of the Everbook. There's a couple of other kind of cool things. Let me, one more thing. This is going to be a video about archiving. I'll have to do another one about annual review. But let me show you something else. A couple of months ago, I don't know, a couple of somethings ago, I was reading through a magazine and I found a list of Anthony Esselin's recommended poets. It was there. And it was just I tore it out because I didn't want to lose it. And I thought, how am I not going to lose that? How am I going to keep that list around? Anthony Esselin's list. So I got a piece of paper. I put poetry on it. This is when I was still sick. I folded it up like a book and I put it with my poetry books. Blam! So I've been doing this more and more, actually taking notes or whatever and folding them over and putting a spine on them and putting them in my library as well. So my library and my filing system are starting to join together. So there's a few ways of taking things out of your Everbook that aren't immediately actionable, but that you want to find and have access to and so forth and so on. Okay, next video, annual review.